Solo Cash Cup Week 6 was nuts. If you guys have been following me throughout this season, I've been working on certain aspects of my game every single week to prepare myself for future Cash Cups. And this is the first Cash Cup where I tried to apply everything I learned into one tourney and try to place. Before we hop into this video, please consider using code JivanTV in the Fortnite item shop, or at least make sure you're using somebody's code because it helps us out a ton. Without further ado, let's get into this video. First off, I just want to say sorry for the quality. I recorded it at a really good quality, but the file got bugged. I worked for 6 hours trying to fix it and couldn't, so I had to clip it from the stream. Anyways, for those of you that haven't been following the Cash Cup progression, let me catch you up. Throughout this season, some of the biggest things that I've been trying to improve on are 1. Finding refreshes. In endgames, it can be really chaotic and you don't know when you should actually be looking for a refresh. But after watching lots of pros play, they're just constantly looking for refreshes. But I always struggle with that, so this season I've been working on studying pro gameplay and trying to figure out how I can get refreshes in different situations. Another thing I've been working on is getting high ground. Most solo Cash Cups back in the day, I would go for high ground once at most. So I'm trying to get to the point where I look for high ground almost every game. Third thing I've been working to apply to my game this season is landing at a POI. In the past, I always landed low-key, even in my first game. So this season, I've been working really hard on studying my off-spawn fights, and we only died off-spawn once this tourney, I believe. Fourth thing I've been trying to improve on is taking more fights in my first game. The footage you've been seeing on screen right now is my first game. I could have taken a lot more fights. One thing I've been trying to do is take fights until I get game-winning loot. But because this was my first game, I should have just kept fighting even though I had really good loot for endgame. And the last big thing that I've been working on this season is taking risks in Cash Cups. Before, I would always play the safe game, try to clutch up as much placement as possible, and that was it. But recently, I've been trying to work on all the stuff I've talked about in this video, going for high ground, getting refreshes, getting more kills, all that stuff, and this is the first tourney where I tried to apply all that stuff into one Cash Cup. Throughout most of this video, you're not going to hear me talking, but I'll pop in here and there to do some VOD reviewing for you guys so you can get an understanding of what I think my mistakes were, and feel free to comment down below if you disagree. So the first mistake was right there where I went for that double kill. It kind of worked out because I got both those kills, but I got absolutely fried because of it, so rotating ahead and looking back would have been the better option there. And the rest of this game was pretty much the same mistake. I should have just been staying on frontage of zone because I had those launch pads, and looking back for kills when I got into the safe zone. Could have clutched me up a lot of kills there. Anyways guys, I'm gonna pop back in later for some VOD reviewing, but enjoy this gameplay for a while. GG's. Yeah, that's a push. Get wrecked! Let's go! Need a refresh. So this game was pretty solid. If I would have been a little more accurate with my pump shots towards the end there, it could have saved me a lot of health and maybe given me a better place. But two of the big things I did wrong there was 1, waiting too long to commit to a refresh, and 2, jumping in on that last player was just pointless, pretty much. If I would have gone over top of him and held him from the front, I could have got that refresh and maybe won the game. Anyways, still off to a good start. Let's see the next game. Can I connect to? Crap. So you may be thinking this hype play wasn't worth it. I genuinely still think it was worth going for high ground here, but I should have paid a little more attention to fragging out below me while I was on high ground. Before I started looking for frags at the end there, I was pretty much just protecting my turf and not letting anybody land on my high ground. If I would have gotten just one slight refresh there, I could have gotten at least top 5 or maybe even won the game from high ground. So I stand by that play, but I definitely could have played it better, especially at the end there. Anyways, not a terrible game, on to the next. And on to the next again. That was the one death off spawn I was talking about. Not today, Sonny. Oh my gosh, bro. No. So in this situation, I think I messed up by trying to build fight the dude who was peppered out pushing my high ground. As soon as I saw him peppered out, I should have just let him have it because I didn't have a crazy amount of mats, so I could have saved those mats to find a refresh on low ground and maybe take the high ground later in the game. All in all, I could have still made something really good out of this game, but again, choke my shotgun shot in late game. We're chilling. What? He left a launch! Haha! No way! Jesus, man! Oops. Struggling with this alien head to build. So right here is one of the biggest places I went wrong in this game, simply because I was sitting here doing nothing. All I had was wood left to build with, and I was in a great position to look back and get some kills. But instead I'm just sitting here doing nothing, so if there's one major thing in this game I would change, it is this. So I VOD reviewed Ager's Cash Cup the other day, and he did like 10 million medkit plays in one game, and so I said, I have a lot of medkits, let's try it out. It's actually a fire play. Oh damn, he just rocketed over there. That's not the zone we were looking for. So I had a car here pointed north for a free rotate, but the zone pulled straight west. So I would have had to drive the car through a ton of people based up already, so I made the smart decision to just run this in instead, and it works really well. I played positioning in these first few zones really nicely. So I played this endgame really well, really patiently. I did an amazing job getting a refresh on low ground when I had no mats, playing through old builds and all that. But the key point that went wrong in this late game was when I got that refresh, I needed to start immediately looking to get up a few layers. Still a really good game. While you guys finish watching that game, I'm gonna start setting the scene for the next two games. So going into the last games, I only had 25 minutes left and 3 games remaining. I only had time for 1 full game, so I decided to make this my W key game, but I got no loot off spawn, and the whole entire game I was looking for fights and just couldn't find anything. Until here. So I had the choice. I could go for a 10 to 15 kill win here, or back out and go for a light win in my next game to maybe make money. So I decided to psycho into these 2 kids boxes brainlessly, and if I somehow survive, I stay and play this out. But I ended up dying, which I preferred for 2 reasons. I wanted to practice in really stacked lobbies, and I think my chances were better to win the next game rather than go for a 15 kill win in that game. So we move on to the most stacked game of all. From experience, I've learned that if you don't get to the first and second zones fast and position yourself as close to center as possible, you will get lobbied. because everybody's looking for Surge like crazy. So I rotated as fast as possible and got a good positioning to look for Surge tags. I got solid on Surge, and then I had to do super strategic rotating here. This first zone was pretty easy to rotate in. I just wanted to get close to edge because I figured if I hit the launch pad at this place, everybody would be shooting me out of the sky. I would die instantly. So I decided to go by cow instead and just got on edge. But the next zone is the zone that's really tricky. I was just looking for tags on people around me at first, and as soon as I got a big hit on this guy behind me, I cowed into zone, and that dude that I shot, I knew he was gonna shoot me regardless, but I got a decent way in before he shot my cow out, and then I just simply waited for my cow to recharge and went the rest of the way in. It was pretty free. The only scary thing about this is I positioned myself kind of in the center of everybody, so I made an extra metal box above me, and turned out nobody really focused me, so it was good. Until this guy next to me needed Surge and starts psychoing into my box. What? No! I had just gotten the refresh I needed, and apparently this dude that psychoed into my box had the hugest tarp ever. Not only did that one player come through, but so did another. I had no idea he had such a big tarp, but if I would have just replaced that floor and cone, I would have been chilling. All in all, that was a really good tournament and a really big improvement for me. I did all of the stuff that I talked about at the start of this video, and I can't tell you how big of an improvement this tourney was for me. I definitely have high hopes for future Cash Cups, but we're still improving. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, maybe learned something new. If you did, be sure to hit that like button, sub if you're new, use code JivanTV in the item shop, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.